Hi, I'm Jeremy McGuire. I'm an account executive with Eagle Marketing Solutions. On a typical day, I'll come in and I'll check my calendar, check my appointments, prep all my stuff for those appointments, and then look at who else I can help out, and then I start my day. Clients want to know that you are there for them, even if you're just checking in and saying, hey, and how are things going? What I enjoy most about my job is the people. Not only the people that I work with here at Eagle Communications, but also the people that I get to work with out in the community and find marketing solutions that work for them.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks today to our producer, Jordan Schaefer from Eagle Community Television. Brandon's away, so Jordan's filling in as our producer and editor of the series. We thank him for his time today. In our Community Connection today, an adjunct professor teaching chemistry labs at Fort Hays State University, Dean Stramel. No, not about chemistry, but about the solar eclipse, which is scheduled for August 21st in the United States, with many areas visible, many events taking place along with the solar eclipse, some of which are at Sternberg Museum of Natural History. All right, Dean, let's begin, if we could, with the beginning of the solar eclipse and when it will end. Let's start there, okay?
Well, we need to remember solar eclipse is when the moon in its orbit around the Earth moves directly in between the sun and the Earth. And so it blocks the sun. And it takes like 3 hours for the whole process to happen. So at about 11:30 on that Monday morning, the moon will just start moving in front of the sun. And by about 1 o'clock, just before 1, the moon will completely block the sun. It will get dark, the temperature will go down, the stars will come out. It's supposed to be one of the most amazing natural experiences you can have.
And this particular solar eclipse, since you've defined it for us, which was one of the things we wanted to ask you about, is going to be a little bit more spectacular than the last one we had. Because of what? What's going on here?
People say, oh, I remember a solar eclipse in '94. Yes, there was a solar eclipse in '94, but because the moon in its orbit, the orbit isn't a circle, and so sometimes the moon is a little further away from the Earth, and in '94 the moon was far enough away from the Earth that it was smaller in the sky, and so it didn't completely cover the sun. That's called an annular. Annulus means ring, and so the moon never completely covered the sun. And so that's completely different. 99% gone is 100% different from 100% gone. I mean, there was still enough light coming from the sun that you couldn't see the corona, you couldn't see Bailey's beads, you couldn't see the stars. So yes, there was a solar eclipse in '94, but it was not the whole shebang like we get this time.
And this one is going to be what they call a total solar eclipse.
The sun is completely blocked.
How frequent are solar eclipses, Dean?
There's one somewhere on the Earth about every year and a half. And thanks to Johann Kepler, in 1604 wrote the laws of planetary motion, astronomers can actually calculate exactly when and exactly where solar eclipses will occur. And people travel all over the world to be in the right place so that they're in the total shadow.
And in the U.S., how frequent?
Well, there was one in '74, Carly Simon's eclipse. You flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. And then there was, so '74, and so that's 40 years. So probably every 35, 40 years there's one somewhere in the U.S.
That's where that Carly Simon reference came from in her song, then.
Yes.
Okay, I wondered about that. All right, so when did your interest begin?
I, as a kid, was always fascinated by the stars and by science, and I became a science teacher. And at Manhattan High, I was teaching Earth science, and eclipses and orbits is part of Earth science. And it's just the geometry of it, the physics of it just fascinated me. So I really got an interest in eclipses. I have a textbook that had one of those maps. It showed every eclipse for the next 50 years. It had a little line on a map of the world. And I thought, far out. I mean, they can actually predict exactly not just when, but where. And so I started saving my nickels and dimes and planning. I went to Hawaii in '91 to see the eclipse.
So you've seen a couple of them?
No.
No. You went to Hawaii?
I tell people I've been there, but I still haven't done that.
Because
in '91, when I went to Hawaii, and I did my research, there were 8,000 photographers and astronomers on the west coast of the Big Island, the Kona coast, because that was a 96% chance of clear skies. But that morning it got cloudy.
Oh,
it was just, we did our research, and all those people flew to Hawaii and saw clouds. And then in 2007, my wife Janet and I went to China to see a total solar eclipse. And that one, it was rainy and drizzly and dark. I mean, it was neat. The sun went behind the moon and it got dark and the parking lot lights came on and we stood in the dark for 6 minutes and didn't see anything. So I've been to 2 eclipses and I've seen none.
All right, now for the eclipse of 2017, where do you plan to be?
They say hotels all along the route, I mean from Oregon to South Carolina, have been booked for over a year. People travel to see eclipses. And I have been telling people I'm not going to commit. I don't want to make plans to be in Grand Island, Nebraska, or in Kearney, Nebraska, or in Casper, Wyoming, and then have it cloudy. So I have not committed to anywhere. I'm going to leave my options open. We may be driving all night long to get to Wyoming or Idaho or wherever we need to be. I'm not going to miss this one.
And you need to check the weather ahead of time.
People will be checking the weather the week ahead and 2 days ahead and the night before and the morning of. Yes, the weather is going to be a very big interest to people that week.
And speaking of Wyoming, we have friends who are planning to go to Wyoming. And obviously, this has become a marketing boom for some. Motel rates increased some 300%, I think, based on locations in that particular area itself.
Right. There's a whole industry around following solar eclipses. We went with a group called Ring of Fire. That's what they do. They put trips together to see eclipses. And so with one being right here in the United States, there are some predictions that this could be the world's greatest traffic jam.
Oh my.
I-80 may become a parking lot because I-80 follows the route of the eclipse.
Where'd you get the shirt?
Janet saw it online and ordered it, and now they're in every store. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Dillon's.
Okay.
People are really promoting this. People
no
find
doubt.
a way to make some money, but that's okay. It's a cool thing.
And in addition to that, of course, our own Sternberg Museum of Natural History will be a part of the event on August 21st. Talk about what Sternberg's got planned.
I talked to Reese Barrick, the director, just yesterday, and they have an exciting program. They're going to have, there's actually NASA going to launch a balloon from here that's going to go up. Wait, was that a Sternberg or was that the one we read in Grand Island? They're having a whole bunch of things going on. There's going to be telescopes set up. They're going to have the live feed from NASA, what they see from the airplanes and stuff, so they'll have what's going on. And there's going to be food trucks there, and there's going to be activities for kids. If I wasn't 0 for 2, and I really, really want to see a solar eclipse, I would. I mean, there's some exciting things going on at Sternberg.
Just stay at home then.
Just stay at home,
Okay.
Yes.
Plus, at Sternberg, now you brought some things that they actually have for the public for sale as a fundraiser to help support these activities at Sternberg, which include what? That book, first of all, right?
Okay.
Show me
There's
the book.
all kinds of things. If you're interested, first of all, go online. You can, if you just Google August eclipse, there's tons and tons of information. But this is for sale in the gift shop at Sternberg.
All right.
It's a little booklet that has lots of information. And you really need to, these are available at the gift shop in Sternberg, and you can get them online. I know you can get them from Amazon or all kinds of places, and they're available walk in the front door at Dillon's. These are filters that block I mean, look how bright these studio lights are. I can see no light. They block like 99% of the light because
Which is really the only way you should watch the
you should
total
never look
eclipse.
directly at the eclipse unless you have an approved filter.
All right. Those are also available at Sternberg.
Sternberg gift shop,
Along with the book.
along with the book,
Get the book, you get 2 pairs of glasses.
2
with it,
sets of
right?
glasses,
Okay.
or you can buy the glasses separately.
Okay, at Sternberg. Good. Well, let's promote our local Sternberg Museum of Natural History.
They have planned a really interesting event. It's going to be a neat thing.
This booklet contains what? What kinds of information are in there?
Well, there's a map of the path. There's charts of what time the eclipse starts at different cities across, even charts for Mexico and Canada. And everywhere in the United States is going to be at least 50% shadow. I mean, half the sun is going to be blocked at least 50% everywhere in the U.S.
Everywhere in the U.S.
So everybody in continental U.S. will see an eclipse. They just won't see totality. To see totality, you need to be in that 70-mile wide strip that crosses across the ocean from Oregon through Nebraska through South Carolina.
Let me show that bigger map of that, because this is one you brought as well. American eclipse, and we'll just put that up so Jordan can see that.
And you see we're less than 3 hours, just a short drive up to Grand Island or Kearney, and we're right in the path of totality. So.
Okay, and this goes from Oregon to
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
And the shadow moves at Mach 2.
Which is what?
Almost 1,500 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
The shadow, well, it takes 3 hours to go 3,000 miles. Isn't that amazing?
All right.
And they say if you're in a tall building or on a high hill, if you catch it, you can actually see the shadow racing across the countryside.
Oh,
wouldn't that be cool?
That would be amazing, for sure. So anyway, there's the map that shows you. There's a smaller map in there if you're looking for that.
And just Google eclipse or online search August eclipse, and you'll all kinds of information.
And really then, if you're in that line, there is no really best place if the weather's cooperating, right?
Correct. Closer to the center gets you more time. And this is a pretty short eclipse. The maximum is like 2 hours and 32 seconds, 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Okay.
But in Grand Island and Kearney, it's going to be it's over 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's as good a place as you need to be, if the weather's good.
It's a short window, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into the information you brought. First of all, I want to promote, because your presentation at Science Cafe at Gallus, which is a monthly event sponsored by Fort Hays State.
Right.
You also did one at the Hays Public Library, but you're going to do one more before the actual event.
Because so many people are showing an interest in this, the library called and asked if I would do another program, and it's going to be on Monday night, August 14th at 6 o'clock at the Public Library.
Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Okay. Public Library.
That's what teachers do. We know stuff and we give it away.
Give it away. That's
Doctors and dentists and lawyers, you have to pay for information.
Good point. I hadn't thought about that. Teachers give away the information that they've gleaned over those years. All right, one more then. That's August 14th, Monday, 6 p.m., Schmidt Gallery, the Hays Public Library, with Dean Stramel, the adjunct professor in chemistry lab teaching at Fort Hays State University.
And I have travel slides and props, so it's a lot better show.
Oh, okay. This is real visual then.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the 25 tips to plan for the 2017 eclipse. You got this from the article Astronomy Magazine.
This was compiled by the editor of Astronomy Magazine, who has led thousands of people across the world to see eclipses.
And there are 25, so go through some of the highlights of these with us, would you?
Well, one, take Eclipse Day off. That it's an event that most people live and die their whole life and never experience. So just make, especially since we're 3 hours away, plan to be there. Weather is paramount.
Yeah.
I've traveled and spent a lot of money to be at eclipses, and I'm 0 for 2. I'm 0 for 2. And so watching the weather and finding out where it's going to be clear is an important part of it. Leave yourself flexibility. There are all kinds of events. Stir Museum at Grand Island is having a big festival. They're having telescopes and speakers, and there's going to be porta potty set up, and there's going to be food trucks. So Grand Island, they're sponsoring an event just to gather people for common interest, common purpose. Kearney State is having an event in their football stadium for students. There's going to be busloads of students from all over Kansas and Nebraska. They're going to have astronomers there and telescopes, and they're having a big event just to promote it. So if wherever you're going, if you look, like you said, commercial enterprise, these are all free because they're from universities and museums, but there's going to be, anywhere along the path, there's going to be something set up, but there's also going to be huge crowds.
Okay.
Stay flexible, allow last minute changes, because in China, we were sitting in the hotel lobby, and everybody had their telescopes set up, and everybody had their cameras set up, and everybody was just glued to their computers looking at the weather. And it was just, obviously we weren't going to get to see it. It was cloudy. But one group got a van and drove 30 miles around the bay or went somewhere because they thought there was a better chance. Out of our 2 busloads, almost 70 people, 6 people got to see the eclipse because they drove to a place they thought might be clear.
In a van.
In a van. The rest of us stood in the dark.
I like this one. Concentrate on the sky. Totality, the shortest 2.5 minutes of your life. Your attention should be on the sun. Anything else is a waste. Be considerate of those around you. Please, no music.
I think of, have you ever been camping and the people in the campsite next door had a loud music blasting in the night? You know, this is, some people see this as a religious experience. I mean, allow people time to be within themselves to experience it on their own. I mean, don't be obtrusive, don't be obnoxious. Just let it be quiet and let people experience it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. What else from this 25 tips?
Especially notice, I bought a big thermometer, and I'm going to set my video camera on the thermometer just so as it's getting darker and darker, you'll see the temperature go down. I mean, you will actually notice an observable change in the temperature.
You'll be able to feel it as well as see it on the thermometer. Okay.
And protect your eyes. There are all kinds. You're going to be able to get eclipse glasses. Everything says you can buy a welder's glass at a welding shop for $3. And I thought, I went down to S&W Supply and I said, do you have welder's filters? They had one for $3.
Wow.
So it's the dark enough glass for welders, so it's dark enough for the sun.
Sure. Okay.
At the time of totality, in every direction, there's going to be a sunset. There's liable to be, I mean, because there's supposed to be a whole range of phenomena around this that, you know, you need to keep your eyes open and look around and just let your senses tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Just take in the moment, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
And plan ahead. 12, it says, use the restroom at every chance you get. If you think you're going to be at a park or at a facility and you're going to go just the last minute, there may be lines. I mean, this is going to be huge crowds everywhere you go, folks.
Bring a chair and sunscreen.
Right. Take care of yourself. Take lots of pictures, but interestingly, we're going to talk about everybody, unless you're a professional, they say don't photograph the eclipse. Because it's only 2.5 minutes. And if you're fidgeting with focus and fidgeting with aperture and fidgeting with, all of a sudden it's over and you missed it.
Yeah. Even your cell phone camera.
Yes. You're not going to get the kind of pictures that are going to be in the magazines or on TV. So let the pros do it, put it all down, and just for 2.5 minutes, let yourself experience it. That's what everybody I read says.
Bring snacks and drinks. Remember, no one will have seen totality.
Yep.
All right, talk about this number 17 real quick, if you would. This is interesting. Regard totality as sacred.
Like I said, to some people it's tears, to some people it's goosebumps. It's like a religious experience. You're seeing an amazing natural phenomenon. And so, you know, respect that, give other people their space to experience it how they wish to experience it. That's the downside. I'm really interested in going where there's a crowd, where there's activities planned, but the downside is you're not going to have that privacy to experience it on your own. So there's a trade-off there, but you just hope other people are respectful.
And try to get caught up in the moment rather than in the crowd situation.
Right.
Okay. Record your memories. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's number 23.
Right. Take pictures of the experience. You know, record it. You're going to remember this the rest of your life, but when it gets close to totality, then it's time to put the camera down and forget it for 2.5 minutes. Just experience the phenomenon.
Don't be in a rush afterward.
Yeah, you're going to be, then after it's over is a time to, wow, did you see the Bailey's beads? What did you think? Wasn't the diamond ring amazing? Just then it's a time to share your experiences with the other people that were there with you. Because, you know, but during totality, I just hope everybody respects everybody's privacy and allows them just
be
to
quiet and experience the moment.
You bet.
Okay. Number 25, we need to go into a little more detail on that because that's interesting, and you referenced this earlier, Dean, was don't photograph it.
So this guy has taken thousands of people to see eclipses, and he said hundreds of people have called him and said, I wish I'd followed your advice. I spent so much time trying to center the image and get my exposure right that I hardly looked at the eclipse at all.
Wow.
I mean, just, like I said, you're not going to get the photos that are going to be in the magazines that the pros get. So why not just put your camera down and let yourself experience it? Yeah. It's going to be neat.
What'd you find? Give us a little feedback from the people who attended the Science Cafe or your presentation at the library. What kind of feedback did you get, Dean?
Well, first of all, people, the first half of my show is what it's about. I mean, because people say, well, so, I mean, they don't understand the magnitude of it. You know, so the sun's going to go behind the moon, it's going to get dark. I mean, is that really that cool? And I'm afraid with young people, just in my teaching career, setting up telescope nights, we've now had 2 generations of Star Wars and superhero movies and video games. And it's not whiz bang, it's not zoom pow. It's just an amazing natural thing. It's quiet, it happens slowly, and I'm afraid some people are gonna like, is that all there is? But if you have a brain and you have an imagination and you're realizing what's happening, it's gonna be a pretty cool thing.
Okay. Tell me about the safety issues once again.
Okay, there's huge amounts of ultraviolet light pouring out of the sun. That's why we get sunburned. That's why some of us have skin cancers cut out of our necks and our ears. And it's very intense. Now, some people say it'll make your eyeballs boil. No, but the intense UV focused on your retina can actually damage your photoreceptors. You should never look directly at the sun, even if the sun is 97% blocked. There's still a lot of intense UV coming at you. And so there's ways to view it. You look at a shadow with a hole, you know, it'll project, you'll see the shape of the sun in the shadow. It's pretty neat.
A little pin camera.
They say the sunlight coming through the tree branches, you'll see a bunch of little eclipses on the sidewalk. So, or look through approved glasses or welder's helmet. You know, put on your welder's helmet, and then you have, but you have to protect your eyes, or because it doesn't take just fractions of a second can start actually doing damage to your photoreceptors, and you need your eyes for the rest of your life. The eclipse only lasts 2.5 minutes.
All right. So take it all in, wherever you might be, Sternberg Museum, or take in the Hayes Public Library presentation, 6 p.m. on August 14th at the Schmidt Gallery of the Hayes Public Library with the Adjunct Professor in Chemistry Lab Education at Fort Hays State University, and solar eclipse watcher, and we hope viewer this time, Dean Stramel, our community connection.
Don't miss the Green and Growing Show in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Eagle TV. Ellis County Horticulture Agent Holly Dickman will identify common lawn and garden issues while providing up-to-date information. Watch weekdays in the noon to 9 p.m. hours on Channel 14 or 614. Green and Growing, brought to you by Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40, and Eagle TV.